Time to shut the engine off, turn the key off, and the most important part is turn the key on. Now if you forget to turn this key back on, you can kiss yourself goodbye, because that key itself has failed more people than you know what to do with, right? So that being said, now we're ready for testing the brake system. So what are we going to do? Now we're going to release the tractor and the trailer brakes, and as we push these in, air is actually leaving the air tanks, filling up all of the air hoses and brake chambers itself, and we're going to see if it has any leaks in the emergency brake system, and that's pretty much what we're going to do now. So once we push this in, the air pressure is going to drop because, like I said, it's going to leave from the air tank to all the hoses and the brake chambers. And now, once it stabilizes, now what we're going to have to do is check the service brake system. So now we're going to put our foot down for, again, hold it, wait for the air pressure to stabilize. We're going to wait 1 minute again, and we cannot lose more than 4 psi with our foot pressed down on the brake. What are we doing now as we push our foot down on the brake? We're filling up all the service air lines, and that's, if there is a hole there, we're going to be losing air pressure, and that's how we're going to know if we have a problem in the air brake system. So the minute has passed now, and we did not lose more than 4 psi. So now that we know that our emergency brakes are working or have no holes, we know that our service brakes hoses, lines, and chambers have no holes as well. Now it's time to test the actual emergency warning system. So I'm going to lose air pressure by pressing on the brake till I get to about 60 psi. And at 60 psi, I should hear a light and buzzer come on. And that right there is your light, and you can hear the buzzer because now we are below 60 psi itself, right? That is a low air warning light and buzzer. So that's going to warn us that we're getting low on air. Now, remember that key situation? If that key is off and you never turn that key on, there is no buzzer anymore, which means that you failed the test. From there, I'm going to turn the key on. I just wanted to show you exactly what that key would have done. From there, what we're going to do, we're going to press our foot on the brake again till we get to 40 to 20 psi. And we're going to be looking at our parking brakes. We want to make sure that the parking brakes pop out between 40 and 20 psi. So we're going to give it some nice pumps. And we're looking at our parking brakes the entire time. And we want to make sure that they pop out just like they did. Now, it's very important that you do not touch the brakes and that they both pop out. If only one pops out, keep pumping until the other one pops out itself, right? And that has concluded the first part of the cab check engine start, which is pretty much the air brake test portion of it. So now what we have to do is take the key out again, which means I'm leaving the vehicle, and now I have to remove the wheel chucks. So I'll be right back. Remember your 3 points of contact, and remember the key in your hand. Alright, so now the wheel chucks have been removed. It's time to perform another safe start. So what are we going to do for a safe start? Turn the key to the on position, wait a few seconds, let the dashboard and computer start waking up a little bit, make sure we're neutral, and confirm that the parking brakes have been pulled out. Now that buzzer is going to be on because we're below 60 psi. So now we're going to start the engine to build to 120 psi. So now, while this is building to 120 psi, is the perfect time to do an in-cab inspection. Everything's working properly, latches and unlatches properly, and this is when I put on my seatbelt itself. Now I physically don't have to put my seatbelt on before this step because we're never moving the vehicle, and by law you need a seatbelt only when the vehicle is in motion, right? So that being said, we have completed the in-cab inspection. Now it's time to go to what we call the tug test. So on the tug test, what we're doing is we're testing the strength between the tractor and the trailer brakes on their own, and then we're going to test the service brakes itself. So what we're going to do, our vehicle is on, our air pressure is full, we're then going to release one of the brakes. It doesn't really matter which one. So if we push in the yellow brake, that means we're releasing the tractor brake, and we're going to test out the trailer brake strength because the trailer brake is still applied. We're then going to put into drive. We're going to come off the brake. We're going to give it a little bit of gas, and we're not moving, which is fantastic. That means that the trailer brakes are working perfectly. From there, we're going to apply the tractor brakes, release the trailer brake, and we're going to do the same thing. We're still in drive. We're going to come off the brake, give it a little bit of gas, and we are not moving itself. Alright? So, and then lastly what we're going to do, we're going to push in both tractor and trailer brakes. We're then going to pull up forward 5 to 10 feet, and then we're going to come to a complete stop. Boom. So, we come to a complete stop, and then nothing has turned, the steering wheel has not turned to either side, which means all my service brakes, foot brakes are working properly. So, from there we're going to apply all the parking brakes, put it back into neutral, shut the engine off, and that has completed your in-cab inspection. That's pretty much it, guys. If you want